Hi there, Ross Ledbetter here, and today's video is called Musical Theatre Audition Songs That Every Singer Needs to Have. And well, it's part 2, because in another video, which I will link here, I walked you through the top 3 audition styles that you will need to successfully audition in musical theatre. So if you haven't seen that video, then click the link and watch that video first, because today's video is going to be geared for those of you who have the top 3 musical theatre styles of music, and you are now looking for more styles and more genres that will help you to build your repertoire and prepare you for auditions. I hope you will find this video helpful. It's designed for singers of all ages and experiences, whether you are a professional performer looking for your next job in the West End, or whether you are a recent graduate from some of London's top drama schools where I have taught at and coached at for many years, or indeed whether you are a younger performer at the start of your career looking to audition for those top drama schools. I hope you'll find this video helpful. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ross Ledbetter. Remember to click the bell notification, hit the red subscribe button, because here on my channel I'll be uploading singing tips and music industry tips every week designed to help you improve your voice and to turn your own singing into a career. And if you'd like to find out more about how to do that, then I have a free PDF guide. Just go click the link below and you will get that free PDF which will show you how to warm up your voice in 3 easy steps and will help you to develop your own vocal technique. Just click the link rossledbetter/coaching. But like I said, today's video we're going to talk about 3 main styles of musical theatre that you need to successfully audition for musicals. So let's discuss. And just to say also that if you do stay tuned right to the end of the video, I have a cheeky little bonus tip that I'd love to share with you. So here we go. Style number 1, jazz and swing standards. Jazz and swing standards. Now this music is fantastic music, first of all, and it really refers to popular music, I guess, from the 40s, 50s and 60s. The great thing about jazz standards is that they can be flexibility and freedom in the styling of how we sing them. It's likely that you will have come across this music through some of the great recording artists from the period. I'm thinking of the great crooners like, for instance, and there are many others too, but some of the big names are Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Bobby Darin if you're a male singer, and for the ladies out there we're looking at Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Cleo Lane. Also, of course, there are some contemporary artists like Michael Buble and Harry Connick Jr. So these crooners, if you like, are fantastic places to start when you're looking for song ideas in the jazz swing style. Just a couple of things to think about when you are preparing these songs, though, is that many of these recordings are iconic recordings. So there's always a danger that you fall into impersonation, that you sing the songs and you copy the vocal stylings of your favorite artists. I would suggest try to avoid that as much as you can for the purpose of a musical theatre audition. So you might want to listen to different versions of the same standard. Many of the great standards have been recorded by many of the great artists. So there's lots of versions out there that you can listen to. And I'd suggest you listen to as many as you can before finding your own version. Obviously listen to your favorites and be inspired by them, but then develop your own style and your own performance as a result of listening to different versions. That way you're going to avoid going into copying and, as I say, impersonation of these artists. Another thing you might want to think about when you're preparing this style is to learn the song strictly first. And what I mean by that is to learn it as it is on the page. Learn the right notes and the right rhythms as it was originally written. As I say, many of these iconic recordings and artists were free and flexible in their own interpretation. But to avoid getting into the danger of copying, then learn the songs as they are strictly first on the page. And then once you've learnt it, it will give you the same kind of freedom to find your own way of doing this. There is a huge wealth of songs out there to choose from, so I hope this has been helpful. Style number 2. Now this one is an actual composer by the name of Stephen Sondheim. And Stephen Sondheim is really the Shakespeare of musical theatre, in my opinion. And like Rodgers and Hammerstein, I guess he really does deserve his own category. Stephen Sondheim is a complete original in his style and in the body of work that he has contributed to the musical theatre genre. He can split opinions. Some people love him, some people dislike him, but there's no doubt that his influence and his body of work is a significant contribution to musical theatre. So having one, or in fact I would suggest 2 Stephen Sondheim songs is going to be very useful for you. But beware, Stephen Sondheim is difficult. It is challenging music, both musically and lyrically, and it requires a really solid vocal technique and an acting ability. So it is challenging material, but if you have that ability, then work on it. And there is a wealth of material in Stephen Sondheim's work that is going to be valuable to you in an audition. But as I say, make sure that you are fully prepared in the material in order to be successful at an audition. Stephen Sondheim writes for the musical actor. I'll say that again. Stephen Sondheim writes for the musical actor, which means that his songs are gifts to singing actors, but at the same time it means that you really have to know what you are doing. One of my top tips is to make sure you have learnt the melody line thoroughly. Okay, a lot of Sondheim's music involves rhythmic complexities, dissonance, and melody lines combined with piano parts can often sound wrong even when they are right. So make sure that you are really well prepared, well rehearsed, and that you absolutely know the melody line and also the lyrics as well. Some of Sondheim's songs are challenging, are quite tricky in the way in which he uses the lyrics. So you've got to know the material inside out, especially, of course, if you're taking this material to an audition. If you have any concerns, of course, maybe rehearse it with a vocal coach. And one top tip I would suggest doing is work with a vocal coach who can also play the piano well enough to be able to play Stephen Sondheim's music, and that way you'll get used to how that song sounds with the piano. Remember, I am a vocal coach. I'll give you the link below if you'd like to get in touch with me to find out a little bit more about how I might be able to help you prepare for your auditions and in turn turn your own singing into a career. But if you are going to take some Stephen Sondheim to an audition, then prepare it thoroughly because the material is fantastic. There's a wealth of characters there, and choose the right characters for your voice and your own personality and sensibility, and you could do really well. So good luck with Stephen Sondheim. The third and final style of musical theatre is British and European MegaMusicals. Now, what do I mean about British and European MegaMusicals? Well, we are talking roughly about 2 main composers, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Schoenberg and Bubil. These are the two main writers really in Britain and Europe in the 80s and the 90s that created these big scale mega musicals that became global really and have taken on worldwide popularity. So shows like Cats, Starlight Express, Phantom of the Opera, Les Miserables, Miss Saigon. These are some of the most popular and certainly the most commercially successful musicals of all time. And of course they are still around and they are still employing musical theatre actors, which is fantastic. If you are choosing an audition song from these mega musicals, then there's a slight problem because some of these songs are some of the most famous songs that we have all grown up listening to and we all love. Not only that, but some of the great recording artists, both in the past and contemporary recording artists, have recorded versions of these iconic songs. So if you were walking into an audition room with Memory from Cats, then the comparison is going to be striking. So it's a bit of a challenge really here. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't sing some of these iconic songs, I Dreamed a Dream or other songs similar to that. These are fantastic songs, and of course they've become familiar and popular for a reason, usually because they are great songs. But unless you can really do them justice, and unless you are absolutely sure that your talent is up there with the great recording artists of all time, then you might just want to be a bit careful. So my top tip when you are auditioning for these shows or for similar shows in this style is maybe think about some of the other shows by these composers that were not quite as famous. So in the case of Schoenberg and Bubil, we're talking about a musical such as Martin Guerre, which we can talk about why it wasn't successful. It's a whole other story, but it wasn't as big a show as, of course, Les Miserables. However, Martin Guerre has some fantastic audition songs for men and for women, so check that out. And there are other songs by them as well. If we were to take Andrew Lloyd Webber, for instance, you might want to consider shows like Aspects of Love, Woman in White, and lots of others as well. So have a dig around and do some research and find out some of the lesser known shows by these great composers, because there is a wealth of fantastic audition songs there. Or if you are going to go with the popular shows, then you might want to consider one or two of the lesser well-known songs from those musicals. That will help you as well. As I say, I'm not saying you shouldn't sing the big hitters, but just be aware that these are very well-known songs both inside and outside the audition room, and so you are inviting yourself to be compared with, as I say, some of the global players in the industry. So something to think about. Another thing to say about the British and European musicals of the 80s and the 90s is that, again, there's a variety of styles here for you to consider. And when you are choosing your audition songs, as always, you want to be aiming for a song that shows off your vocal range, but also a song that suits your own personality and your own character, and that will enable you to create a character in an audition room so that you are showing off not just your vocal talents, but also your acting abilities, which, after all, is what musical theatre is. Now, for those of you that have stayed to the end of this video, well, thank you so much for supporting me here on the channel, and I hope it's been useful. I did promise you a bonus tip, and I'd like to give you one extra thing to have in your back pocket for an audition, and that is something called your party piece, or at least I call it your party piece. It's a unique special song that is just yours. So it could be anything, but something that is completely unique for you. Perhaps some examples could be a cabaret song, a song that you might do in an open mic situation. It could be a comedy song, something that's written in your own regional accent, and therefore it gives you an opportunity to do something that's completely different and will make you stand out. Some other examples is maybe something from music hall or from the tradition of vaudeville, which again links into a comedy song or a patter song, for instance, by a Gilbert and Sullivan operetta. Or if you are a more classical lyrical singer, then it's always good to have an unaccompanied folk song. That takes me back to my classical grades. But a folk song that you can sing a cappella without any accompaniment is something that might be useful for some auditions. So have something that's a bit different, that's unique, that is something just you can do, and it's there in your rep folder that you can pull out at any moment. So one bonus top tip there for you. Well, I hope today's video has been helpful. If it has, please do comment in the boxes below, and I would love to hear from you. And I'd love to hear what other information or tips that you need help with, because as I say, I'll be uploading singing tips and music industry tips every week here on my YouTube channel. But just to summarize, in today's video, I took you through three styles of musical theatre audition songs that you may want in your repertoire folder, and that is jazz, swing style, the music of Stephen Sondheim, and the British European musicals of Andrew Lloyd Webber and Schoenberg and Bubil. In another video here on YouTube, I walk you through my top 3 audition songs for musical theatre, which if you haven't checked that video out, then I'd suggest you do it. And as always, if you'd like to turn your own singing into a career, then I have a free PDF guide there that will help you to warm your voice up in 3 simple steps. Just click the link below and that will be in your inbox. Remember, you can hit the bell notification and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And until the next video, happy singing and good luck with those auditions.